Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So I just got off work and we're getting into some stuff because I've been waiting for a minute to tell you guys my spooky Halloween story, or at least close enough. Nothing super duper traumatic has ever happened to me, I don't think, but I'm in my jammies in some nice fuzzy socks and we're getting into it. So before Halloween is over, I want to tell you guys about the time that I don't know why I'm laughing. Do not come for me. This is not a funny story. This is like truly traumatizing for the people involved, like besides me. This is not funny. So but I don't know why whenever I'm like super nervous and things are like super awkward, I just laugh. This is not funny. I'm gonna tell you guys about the time that my neighbor was shot and killed, and like she actually died on my front porch. So let's get into it. Oh, before we begin, if you're new to my channel, please subscribe, check out my social media. I'd love for you to join my little family that I have here, my growing family. Leave a like if you enjoy this video. So this story starts off, I think that I was, let's see, what year was that? I think that I was 13 years old. Yeah, I was 13 years old. So still riding the bus. 13, how old are you in 13? Like, what grade are you in when you're 13 years old? I guess 8th grade, going into my freshman year of high school. I think that's right. Okay, so I'm 13 and it's literally, I think I even still remember the day this happened on. I think it was a Wednesday. It was like right in the middle of the week. Don't ask me how I know, but I have a feeling I think it was a Wednesday. So the day starts off, like I'm at school, I finished school, I'm on my way home. I'm on the school bus, on my way home, and I get a text from my sister. Keep in mind, like, we moved into this house when I was 7 years old. Never really had much happen on our street. Living in the city, I lived in the city. For a city street, it wasn't chaotic, but it got there. It really did. There are multiple stories that I could tell you, but nothing too interesting. On the school bus, on my way home, I get a text from my sister and it says, "Hey, don't come up to the house." And I'm like, where the hell am I supposed to go? I live there. Little backstory, my sister always played pranks on me, so I kind of just expected that this was her doing and this was like a bunch of bullshit, and like I didn't think anything of it. I had a great day at school. I was ready to come home, not do any homework because we didn't do that. I was ready to kick back, watch some TV, watch some YouTube, eat, have a great time. So I just completely, I kind of ignored her, but I texted her back. I think I just said why, you know, like why, what's going on. But I felt like it was going to be a prank on me because she always pulled pranks on me. This one was not a prank. When I got off the school bus, I think I got out of school around 3 o'clock, maybe 2 in the afternoon. So I went up, first of all, I got off my school bus. I paused for a minute, you know, thinking, okay, maybe this isn't a joke. Maybe I need to just hold off. But I went up to my house anyway because I fucking live there. And I had nowhere else to go. So I went up to my house and what I saw, let me describe to you, warning, 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 warning. If you do not like to hear about gory things, please skip forward or move on to a new video or something. But I'm gonna tell you what I saw. so be prepared. When I walked up to my front porch, I saw, this is not funny. I cannot stop. When I walked up to my front porch, I saw my next door neighbor. First of all, there was blood everywhere. Blood everywhere. I saw my neighbor. She was on my porch. She was laying there. And on my porch. So here's how it looks. My parents still live here, by the way. So there's 3 stairs that are like concrete, and then you go up to the porch. My porch their porch is painted, and there's like a good 5 steps you go up to get to our front door. So a good amount of steps. She was there on my porch, and there was blood everywhere, and I couldn't get to my front door. She was a heavier set woman, had some curves, but I didn't know what to do. I literally didn't know what to do. So I remember standing there just looking at her for a good 2 minutes. And then, oh my gosh, this is so scary. But out of nowhere, the police come, a whole fucking SWAT car, like one of the trucks where all the men, like you see in movies, like one of the cars, all the men burst out of the back of the car, like 6 fucking guys, and they storm the house, you know, that kind of movie scene. It was just like that, and I did not know what to do. Okay, so this part really upset me a little bit, but whenever I actually realized what was happening, that's when the police started coming, and it was kind of like, I barely heard anything. I just saw a lot of panic. Like, everybody was panicking. And I'm over here like, where do I go? What do I do? Because one of the cops, like, they all took their guns out, and they were all pointed at my front door. They were actually pointed at my dad, because my dad is the one he opened the front door to see what was going on outside, because the cops had come. They called the cops, like my dad called them, and they had their guns pointed at him. And so he closed the front door. He saw me and he closed the front door so that he didn't get shot at, and they don't like misinterpret the situation. But there was a police officer pointing his gun at my house, and he was looking at me, telling me, get the back. Like, he literally said, get the back. And he called me all these names. Oh, thanks. He literally said it just like this. He was like, get the back. And he started calling me all these nasty names. Like, not that bad. But for a 13-year-old, I was like, my feelings were hurt. Just because I was in the wrong place at the wrong time, dude. He was just calling me stupid. He was like, what are you, stupid? Get the, you know. So I took a few steps back, and then he told me, like, further, go back, get the hell out of here. And I was literally yelling at him. I was like, I live here. Long story short, I ended up down at the corner of my street. I ended up at my neighbor's house, the one on the corner. They let me in and just let me sit on their couch until everything calmed down. So that's where I was at this point in time. Now, the rest of the story, so what they did was they checked our house, they checked our neighbor's house. So the story is, let me tell you what happened, what I heard, you know, secondhand from my family of what happened. Like, I literally sat there was a policeman at our kitchen, our dining table, and my mom and my sister were telling this man what went on before I even showed up. So what happened was, this woman, our neighbor, she got into a really bad fight with her boyfriend, her partner. They had 3 kids together. So she got really scared. He pulled a gun on her, and Apparently he shot her once, like in their house, and then she was bleeding on the way over to our porch. So she went up to our porch, and my family was telling me that they heard my voice, what sounded like my voice, saying "Mom," but in reality this woman, our neighbor, was saying "Ma'am," like "ma'am," and banging on the door, like screaming, crying, banging on the door saying "Ma'am." And it's so sad to even think about it. That is what went on. And he ended up following her to our porch, and they thought it was me saying "Mom," like maybe I didn't have my key, like, because I had a key to the house and sometimes I forgot it at home, but not in this case, not this day. So my sister opened the door and she shut it really fast because it wasn't me, and she saw the blood and she saw the gun and she saw him like heading towards this neighbor of ours. He shot her in the head twice on our porch, and she fell there. She fell, and then that's when my mom, my dad, they came to the door, checked everything out, and they stayed inside. They did not do anything but call the police, and they remembered that I was coming home, but they didn't have a plan for me. And I think that my brother is still traumatized by this story because he thought it was me as well. He's got a whole vivid memory of what he thinks happened. I'm not even gonna get into that. Once they get everything cleaned up on our porch, like they took her away, they ended up finding her boyfriend because whenever he shot her and killed her, he got in his car and drove off. I think that he went to his parents' house, I'm not sure, but they ended up finding him and they killed him. The police, they killed him. So they're both gone. They left behind 3 children, 3 little girls. I have to assume that they're with maybe their grandparents right now. I have no idea. Hopefully they're okay though. Me, where I am during all of this, at my neighbor's house on the corner of the street, I remember I had to get into, it was cold out. I know it was cold out and I didn't want to stand outside. So I got into a detective's vehicle so that I could tell him what I saw in my memory of the story. And I remember being so frustrated because I felt like he wasn't listening to me. I literally kept saying, I just got off the school bus and I found her there. Like, that's all I could say. I literally found her there. What do you want me to say? So that pissed me off. And then the fact that I told him about the police that were calling me stupid and yelling at me because I wouldn't get away from my house. Anyways, I told the detective the story over and over and over again. I don't know why they do that. I know that they ask a million questions, but it's really frustrating, especially when you don't know anything. Like, I just got home from school. What do you want me to say? She was there. There was blood. Everything was there. I didn't see her boyfriend. I didn't see anything. I just found her. I kept saying I found her there. After everything was said and done, everything went back to normal that same day. We had to ask them. My dad literally had to ask the ambulance and the police officers, fire department, whatever, to spray down our porch because there was blood everywhere and they were just gonna leave it there. We had to ask them if they could use their hose and just like spray down the scene. We ended up on the news. Not me, but we ended up on the news. I remember because my friends were like, isn't this your street? Isn't this your house? You know, the very next day at school, everybody knew what happened. So I guess it was a pretty big deal. I ended up being able to go home. I went through my backyard though because there was still a ton of stuff going on at the front of our house. So I went through the gangway to the backyard and then I went, you know, into the house. Now this this is crazy, but this is the part that I don't remember. I don't remember my family Like, we all apparently had a group session with a counselor. Like, we went to counseling for this situation. I guess because they thought that we were all traumatized. We also had our pastor of our church that we trust so much. We had him bless our house. He went through and blessed all of us and our entire house, because days after this happened, the weirdest thing, we heard her. I can't explain this, but a few days after this all happened, I remember it was late at night, maybe like 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock, right around there. My mom wasn't in the house. My dad was in his bedroom. My brother was in his room. And then I was in my bedroom. My sister was in her bedroom. Okay, so everybody was home except for my mom. I think she was at work, but I remember I was watching TV, or maybe I was watching YouTube on my phone or something. I was watching something, and I was hearing screaming. I was hearing screaming, and I was like, where is that coming from? I automatically assumed it was my sister, so I went to her room, and I said, "Why are you screaming?" And she was like, "I'm not screaming." And I was like, then who is? Keep it down, right? Okay, so later on that night, my dad, I hear him get up and go to my sister's room. He says the exact same thing that I said. He said, "Are you in here screaming?" And my sister was like, again, she was like, "No, I'm not screaming." And there's really no way to even, and my brother heard it too. There's no way to pass that off as like not part of that situation. Maybe it was her spirit, you know, trying to move on. I don't know what's happening. I don't know, but I remember hearing screaming. My dad heard it, my brother heard it, and we all thought it was my sister. So we all went to her room, but it wasn't her. So that's kind of creepy. But after that happened, after we heard all the screaming, that's when we blessed the house, because we thought that she was still kind of lingering around her rest area, and we blessed our house. However, you know how when they say, like, you have a witch or whoever do a spell, and the spell doesn't end until that witch dies? Yeah, our pastor passed away a few years ago, and I don't know if that, you know, it's like breaking a curse or something. I don't know. I don't want to think about it. I don't even live there anymore. But that is one of the craziest things that's ever happened in my life. I don't think that there's anything left to say on that story. We have all moved on. Like, we are not really thinking about it anymore. It was back when I was 13 years old. I'm 21 now. I'm 21. So that's been a while. And I still vividly remember it. I can still see her laying there. I thought it was a joke. I literally walked up to the house and didn't know what to do. I didn't think it was real. I don't know. I remember everything. She had a scarf on her head. Like, I remember everything. And the weirdest part is that my parents, they didn't know what to do, so they took us all to counseling, and like hoping that it would make things a little bit better, we could talk about it. But this did not scar me. Like, I've never felt scarred in like scarred for my life. I've never felt that until my grandma passed away. Yeah, I've never felt that until that happened to me. Now I feel scarred, and I'll never get that out of my head. But my neighbor, I wasn't scarred. I wasn't even scared. I wasn't traumatized. It doesn't affect me. I was able to sleep after that happened, and I was able to go on about my life. I can't say the same for anybody else. You know, I don't know what my family went through. I have no idea. It looked kind of like it didn't scare me, even though it was a real situation. It did not scare me. Even as a 13-year-old, I just was kind of confused. And I'm someone that does not like horror movies. Or back then, I did not like horror movies. I did not like anything gory. I thought it would freak me out more, but it didn't. I don't know why. And I still feel, till this day, I feel like I'm not normal. I feel like that right there should have triggered me. Like that should have done something to me, and it didn't. And I knew this lady. I waved to her every single day. She was so friendly. Anytime I saw her, she was so nice. She always waved to me. Her kids were they were really good kids. Like, it just, these were really unfortunate circumstances, and I feel terrible for her and her family and what they went through. And I hope she's resting well. So that is the end of my story. I'm really hoping to get this up before Halloween comes around, because so if I don't see you before then, happy Halloween. I am handing out candy this year. Hopefully we get some trick-or-treaters. Fingers crossed. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, give it a like, subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of my face, because I try really hard. Obviously. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.